At the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Washington state, a mist, like a soft gray shroud, clung to the pine forests and the sleeping town. Sam Wilkins awoke in his cabin. The fireplace had died down the night before, leaving only the embers' warmth. He sat up slowly, his joints creaking with a slight protest, like rusty gears. Beside the bed, an old Belgian Malinois immediately raised its head. Ears perked up alertly, its amber eyes clear and sharp even in the dim light. Its name was Sentinel, formerly MWD, Military Working Dog 274. Sam's rough hand stroked Sentinel's head, scarred by old wounds, feeling the taut muscles and unwavering alertness between his fingers. "Good morning, old pal," he said, his voice hoarse with the weariness of the night. Sentinel gently nuzzled his hand, its tail swishing twice on the old carpet in response. Their communication had long transcended language. Everyone in town knew Sam was a silent veteran, with his equally silent dog. He worked as a warehouse manager at the town's hardware store, and Sentry was always by his side, like a quiet shadow. Some children were afraid of the dog, which never wagged its tail and had an overly focused gaze, while some young people, like the town's new deputy sheriff, Kyle Jenkins, thought the man and dog were somewhat strange, even pretentious. "Look at that dog, so taut, like it's about to pounce," Kyle once muttered to a friend in a bar. And old Wilkins never says a word, heaven knows what he used to do. That afternoon, the weather changed abruptly. Leaden clouds hung low, foreshadowing an impending blizzard. Sam left work early and drove back to the cabin halfway up the mountain with Sentry. Just around the bend in the rugged mountain road, they witnessed a horrific scene. A state government survey vehicle, trying to avoid a suddenly charging moose, lost control, tumbled down a steep slope, snapped several small trees, and finally came to rest upside down in a frozen creek. The vehicle was twisted, and the faint smell of gasoline lingered. Sam's heart sank. He immediately stopped the car, grabbed the emergency kit and a thick blanket, and the Sentry had already jumped out. He stood on the edge of the cliff, leaning forward, his nose twitching rapidly, a low, warning growl escaping his throat. "Stand by," Sam whispered. The Sentry immediately suppressed his agitation, but his muscles remained tense, his eyes fixed on the accident scene below. Sam quickly assessed the situation. The slope was nearly 60 degrees, covered in ice, snow, and pine needles, extremely slippery. The vehicle was severely damaged, at risk of leaking oil, and could catch fire at any moment. The situation inside the vehicle was unknown. He tried to call for help with his cell phone, but there was no signal. Just then, a county sheriff's patrol car pulled up behind him with its lights flashing. Deputy Sheriff Kyle Jenkins got out, and seeing the situation below, his expression changed. He called for backup, but informed Sam that due to the weather and terrain, a professional mountain rescue team wouldn't arrive for at least an hour. "We have to go down and check," Kyle said, preparing to slide down. "Wait!" Sam stopped him, his voice carrying unquestionable authority. "The slope is too steep, and without a secure rope, you could easily injure yourself. Besides, you don't know the specific situation down there. Approaching the damaged vehicle recklessly is dangerous." Kyle was somewhat annoyed. "Then what do we do? Just wait? There might still be someone alive inside." Sam ignored his impatience. He crouched down, opened his emergency kit, took out a Sentry harness and leash, and quickly fitted the dog with them. He pointed to the vehicles below, and addressing the Sentry, gave a clear, steady command. "Sentry, search! Find!" The Sentry darted down the steep slope like an arrow, its claws gripping the snow and mud, its form nimbly weaving through the rocks and bushes. Kyle's eyes widened. "You're sending a dog?" What can it do? Sam didn't answer. His gaze followed the sentry. The sentry approached the vehicle, not immediately lunging, but cautiously trotting around the wreckage, its nose close to the ground and the gaps in the car body, sniffing carefully. Then, it stopped at the crushed window on the driver's side, straining its nose inside. After a moment, it raised its head and barked 3 short, sharp barks in Sam's direction, the standard warning of signs of life. "The pilot's still alive," Sam immediately told Kyle, while shouting down, "Hold on! Good boy, Sentry, hold on!" Upon hearing the command, Sentry immediately crouched low, guarding the pilot's window. He stopped barking, but a low, reassuring whimper continued to emanate from his throat, as if telling the person inside, "Hold on. Help is on its way." Time ticked by, the snowstorm intensified, and the temperature plummeted. Kyle paced anxiously, several times trying to force his way down, but Sam stopped him with a look. "Trust my dog," Sam simply said. "He knows better than we do what we need to do." Rescue finally arrived, but the severe weather prevented the helicopter from taking off. The rescue team brought ropes and a stretcher. The captain frowned, looking at the steep, slippery slope and the unstable vehicle below. "We need to know the exact situation down there before we can devise a safe descent and stabilization plan." Just then, Sentry suddenly barked again. This time continuously and urgently. The situation had changed. Sam's expression changed, and he quickly said to the rescue team leader, "The situation inside the vehicle might have worsened. It's trained and can assess the situation. Let me go down with it. I can secure the rope, and it can determine the best approach route and the internal conditions." The rescue team leader looked at Sam, then at the dog standing guard in the snowstorm below, and hesitated. Deputy Sheriff Kyle couldn't help but shout, "Captain, this is too risky. Let him go down with a dog? Who knows if that dog is reliable?" Sam abruptly turned his head, staring at Kyle. For the first time, a cold anger ignited in his usually calm eyes, but he still restrained himself. The rescue team leader looked at Sam's steady, rock-solid hands, at the silent understanding between him and the dog, and at the dog's astonishing professionalism in extreme conditions, and made his decision. "What equipment do you need?" Sam quickly fastened his seatbelt, attached the rope, and then gestured to the sentry. A man and his dog, guided by a relatively safe path previously scouted by the sentry, slid down into the valley under the protection of rescue ropes. Sam's movements were unexpectedly agile and steady, as if this harsh environment were his most familiar battlefield. Upon reaching the bottom, Sam quickly assessed the vehicle, using tools brought by the rescue team to stabilize it and prevent a second slide. Through a relatively intact gap, indicated by the sentry, he established simple verbal communication with the trapped, disoriented driver, confirming that he was still alive but suffering from severe hypothermia, and his legs were trapped. Throughout the process, the sentry remained close to Sam, either keeping watch on the surroundings or sniffing specific locations as instructed by Sam. Every subtle reaction from the sentry provided Sam with crucial information. They were like a unified entity with a shared brain and senses. Ultimately, with the cooperation of the rescue team, the driver was successfully rescued and taken to the hospital. As Sam and the mud and snow-covered sentry were pulled onto the roadside, the rescue captain, a gray-haired veteran, stared intently at Sam's face, then at the exhausted but still ramrod-straight Malinois, particularly noticing the subtle marks on its body, marks of battle wounds and service, that could only be seen at close range. The captain gasped, his voice trembling with disbelief, and saluted Sam. "My God! Mountain Hawk? Sergeant Major Samuel Wilkins? And that's Wraith, K9 WDS-274, isn't it?" Mountain, Hawk, and Wraith. These two call signs instantly moved the veteran rescue team members present. The captain turned to the bewildered Deputy Sheriff Kyle Jenkins and the others around him, excitedly saying, "Do you know who just went down? Mountain Eagle Wilkins, the 10th Mountain Division's top reconnaissance and search guide. And Ghost, he carried out hundreds of high-risk tracking and search missions in Afghanistan and Iraq, discovered dozens of improvised explosive devices, and saved countless lives. They are a legendary duo in the Army. Ghost has received more commendations than many soldiers." He pointed to several inconspicuous scars on the sentry's body. The wound on its neck was from shrapnel when it pushed Sergeant Wilkins away. It retired because its hearing was permanently damaged in the explosion, but it can still perform its mission with its eyes and nose. And you actually question them? Deputy Sheriff Kyle Jenkins' face instantly turned deathly pale. He looked at Sam, tired, but still standing tall, and at the old dog sitting quietly at his feet, its eyes still focused. A wave of shame overwhelmed him. He stepped forward, his voice choked with emotion. "Mr. Wilkins, Ghost, I apologize for my stupidity and ignorance. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Sam simply bent down silently, pressing his forehead against the sentinel's wet forehead, gently stroking the old scar on its neck. The sentinel licked his wrinkled cheek. The snow continued to fall, but at this moment, warmth flowed in the silence. Sam straightened up and said calmly to Kyle, and to everyone else, "It doesn't need to apologize. It only knows that someone needs help." He patted the sentinel's shoulder. "Go home, old buddy." Man and dog, once again, became two silent figures, staggering and disappearing into the increasingly dense snowflakes. They took with them unparalleled glory and scars. They left behind a story of loyalty, courage, and an unwavering duty. The mountain eagle may be old, its claws may be dull, but the instinct to protect has long been ingrained in its blood, unwavering until death.